What's good? I'm back.
We're back.
That's all I'm gonna say. It's like
We're back. Welcome to a long overdue episode of Chopping It Up with Q. And I'm the voice that you hear, and that's Q.
Yeah. You know what? We're just gonna transition. Just chop it up with V today. You know, I'm the side. You know, I'm the dude who's just gonna be following the woman who's the real talent of this series. I've you know, I've been slipping. I won't lie. You know, COVID hit her. You know, thing happened. You know, we just been chilling, you know, stuff like that. And time is
I have 27 jobs, and then
True.
Quentin has a baby that won't go to bed. So,
oh yeah, definitely. I mean,
at first he just had a baby, and so I was like, we're resting because he's a baby, and now he's not like a baby. But now he just doesn't go to sleep.
Yeah, now he just thinks he should just be up whenever he wants. He should be able to run back and forth, and everybody should just be fine with what he wants to do. Yeah, that's pretty much where we are.
Sounds toddlerish.
Yes, exactly.
Sounds toddlerish, because if toddlers are not shit else, they are assholes.
Oh, man. Hey, you know
Clean,
what?
adorable, but assholes.
Look, I won't lie. I almost fought him the other day. Like, okay, so he decided he wanted to just throw a fit because my wife wasn't available, and he was, you know, he wanted to be breastfed. I was like, hey man, I can't help you, so I can hold you, you can sit next to me, but other than that, that's as far as I can do. So he didn't want to be held, so he gets down, he just throws himself on the ground, and I'm like, fine, I'll just keep playing my game. You know, I'm over here on my Mass Effect, and then he just comes up and slaps the controller out my hand. And in other, you know, in most places, that's a fight. It's like, oh, you want to take it there. But I remember, you know, he's a baby. So I was like, all right, you know what? You win this one. I'm going to let you make it. But yeah, he's a dick. I'll just say that.
I feel like you go to jail if you fight him. So you really kind of have to weigh your options there. You kind of have to be like, you know what? You win this time, but I'm going to remember this.
Yeah, exactly. When you get older, just stick your foot out when he's running and just let him plop down. He'll be all right. But what's been up, man? I mean, it's been a long time. You know, hopefully ain't nobody abandoned us. I hope everybody out here being safe, everybody good, you know, just at least find some joy in all the, you know, all of 2021. But V, how's everything been with your 75 jobs?
Been good. As I told Twitter, I got a raise. So, but that wasn't really a raise. It was just them giving me back the money that they took from me during COVID when we all took pay cuts. But after I told them, like, I will leave this shit and not blink, and I don't care if I don't have another job, they said, you know what, girl, we'll give you your money back. You seem on edge. Our bad. And so yeah, that worked out in my favor. So now that means I may be able to quit my part-time job. So I'm so sorry. Probably after this month is over, there won't be any more Twitter installments of should Vermeek buy this, because that's because I just take pictures of shit in Home Goods that I want to buy and I'm thinking about buying that I don't really need. So there won't be any more installments after this month. But you know, all good things must come to.
You mean the most expensive part of being an adult, man? You don't realize how much home decor costs. Like when you really sit back and you think about it, why does a couch cost $5,000 though? Like we just sit on it.
Yeah, it is concerning. I will admit. Okay, so I want I've said this before though. I want a blanket rug because I am like a throw blanket whore, and I have them everywhere. And so now there's like a large stack of throw blankets on the back of the couch because I don't have anywhere to put them. And everybody was like, oh, get one of those cute decorative baskets and put it down by the fireplace. Well, I have dogs, and the dogs like to chew on things. So when you leave soft shit on the floor for dogs, they...
Oh, I'm going to need that. Like, oh, just right. For me? Yeah.
You left this here for me? So they just chew up the ends of blankets. So that's not going to fly. Especially because then the basket would be by the fireplace next to their toy basket. No good.
Oh, yeah. You just causing any situation for confusion or just for them to just be like, oh, well, shoot, I guess this is another basket for us. That's what's up.
Yeah, like it just would. Yeah, it would be a mess. I just wouldn't have blankets.
Yeah, she a real dope, dope owner, man. First she getting us toys. Now we got blankets. Shit, this is life.
they have their own blankets. So I just don't want there to be any confusion with multiple blankets on the floor. So they have this invention called a blanket ladder, and I bring this up periodically on Twitter about how I want someone to buy me one, which I could buy my own. But it's literally like a small decorative ladder. It's not like made out of metal. It's not super tall. Like it maybe has 5 rungs on it. They're usually made out of wood, and they're like $50. Like I'm not, and it makes me irrationally angry every time I think about it, because who wants to pay $50 for something for essentially 5 rungs of wood to hang your blankets on? Like I want it because it's cute, but I also don't want to pay $50 for it.
Yeah. See, I'm good, man. Most of my furniture is hand me down, and I'm proud to say that. Yeah, there's plenty of times I done went back home. My mom was like, "Hey, I'm getting rid of this. You want it? Sure. Yeah, I'll take it. Hey, one less thing I gotta buy. I'm good."
That is the beauty of being an only child. Your parents will cut for you, because when they get tired of shit, they be like, "Do you want it?" Gently used, because it wasn't like there were 7 children in the house.
No.
So, like it's in great condition, and they're just tired of looking at it, and they're like, "Do you want this?" And you're like, "Yeah," and then like send you home with like other stuff that they just have extras of. Like, yeah, it's a beautiful thing when you can just go to your parents' house and like pick up shit and leave with it. They don't care.
Pretty much, it's like shopping. I remember one time she was gonna send me home with a couch set and everything. I just didn't have a way to haul it. That's it. But it's all good.
That's that's exactly it. I've also discovered that I get irrationally angry when I look at like the cost of an area rug. Like it is.
Oh man.
Why? There was a rug in Home Goods that I had to hang. Now keep in mind it was huge and probably would have covered the area of a whole room. Not like it was an area rug, but it definitely was big enough to cover like a large room. So I wouldn't even say it was like an area rug. It was an area rug. It was $1,000. And I just feel like for $1,000, I could get the room carpeted. Like
you could do literally anything else.
For $1,000, I could go buy carpet and install it myself.
Yeah, do it yourself
in the room and have a room full of carpet. Like it is insane to me that a rug costs $1,000.
Speaking of, I'm glad you brought up rugs. Speaking of, so we got our first complaint the other day, and again, like I was telling everybody, so my son is now 18 months, a little bit over, and we all know toddlers, they only know 2 speeds: slow as ass and fast as shit. That's just how they move. So he likes to dart back and forth anywhere he goes, just stomping, running, it doesn't matter. And so, of course, I figured we were going to get a complaint at some point, because, there's times where he's like, he's up late, and he's doing it still. Try to, calm him as much as possible, but, he's a toddler, he don't listen. So, my wife, she talks to the people, because they call, the office called and said, "Hey, we got a complaint, blah, 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 because of noise." And she was like, "Oh yeah, we're sorry. We really apologize. He's 18 months, and we'll corral him as best as possible. Maybe bring him outside when we can." The lady fixed him up to say, "Oh well, have you considered buying a rug? We've heard that actually could potentially, dampen the sound."
It could, but also, are you going to give me money for a rug?
Thank you.
I didn't know.
Exactly. Because she called me. I was like, "Oh, are you donating? Are you providing complimentary rugs? When was this service initiated? By all means, I'll take it."
Y'all went up on rent and didn't tell me it was rugs available?
Yeah. Oh, no, we just heard through the grapevine that that's an option. It's like, oh, okay. I'm not doing that unless you're about to buy it.
Okay, so we live in an apartment. And if they felt that horribly about it, perhaps they should have lived on the highest floor. Toddler.
Yeah.
Not much I can do. I'm so sorry that you think I'm supposed to strap my toddler to my back so that you feel comfortable about the fact that he runs around sometimes. Like, he is a kid. And
hey, look, that's all I could do.
And that's really all there is to it. He's a kid. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Like, and it pains me, because when I'm at work and people have their kids in the store and their toddlers are like running around, people are like, "Oh, you need to whatever." And it's like, honestly, kids are kids. Like at that age, like they're still learning, they're still exploring. So if they're not confined to the basket. Of course, they're going to run around. Of course, they're going to touch things. So I don't see getting irrationally angry about it. Now, do I think you need to keep an eye on your kids so they aren't like pulling glass mugs off the shelves and throwing them on the ground? Sure. But other than that, I like when kids run up to me. They like to hand me things. I talk to them. Like, it doesn't bother me. And I think as a whole, people have this whole kind of, I guess kids should be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that people assume that you should be able to corral your child and they shouldn't make any noise and they shouldn't be children in public. Yeah, and I feel like there's a vast difference between your kid having what we were raised with, quote unquote, home training, and you feeling like your kid shouldn't be able to be themselves out in public.
First of all, anyone who comes to you and says you should be able to control your child has never had a child or been around children ever in their life. We're acting like children are rational actors. Like seriously?
like the baby has a mortgage or a sense of time or
exactly. I should go be able to tell my son, now you understand we're in public, so therefore boobies will be off limit. Yes, father, I understand. I'm glad that you were able to provide that information to me. I will be calm from here on out. That's not how that conversation is going to go. I'm sorry. For all those people without kids, I don't know what they expect.
They expect you to be quiet, and they also expect you to come out of pocket for area rugs that they aren't providing to keep your toddler from running around. When, in honesty, what area rug are you going to be able to get that's going to dampen the sound throughout your entire house?
Not none. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry. I would have been an a-hole in that case. I would have been like, oh, madam, I don't believe you understand how force works. I was like, just because, sure, the surface is slightly softer. However, if he's running hard enough, they're going to hear any and everything anyway. So now then I waste $1,000 top end for a rug that now just looks good.
And they're still calling you complaining.
Exactly.
And honestly, to be a dick about it, I would have told her I have rugs. I would have just would have went ahead and went on a limb and been like, I already have rugs. What now?
Yep. Hey, you know what? I'll be up for doubling down on it. Say, yeah, we tried that. We're actually going through that control process now. Can you have any other suggestions for us? Rubber mats, maybe?
I was like, I would love to hear that. We heard that rugs work. We have some.
See, that's why we get along. Because I would have had a similar approach. I'd be like, oh, okay, look, I'll play. So.
Exactly. I'd have been like, oh, it's go time? Great. Been waiting all day to shut some shit up. Great. Been waiting my whole life for this. Are you ready? You aren't ready. They pay you minimum wage. You aren't ready. Let's do this.
You know what? I learned that at certain jobs, you aren't paid to care. There's no way I am calling someone during the day to tell them, hey, hi, patron, we appreciate your, patronage. However, we've heard a complaint from your neighbor that, the food you're cooking tends to, the smell of it tends to go to into their home, or they heard some noise. Do you think you can keep that down? I'm not going to go out my way. Honestly, if someone were to, this would be me. Someone calls with a complaint, I'd have been like, oh, bet, man, you ain't going to run up on them, though. I bet you won't. Which apartment is it? All right, I'm going to tell them which one you live in. I'll let them know you told me. I'm like, hey, man, I'm just saying, if you about that, let's do it.
I am crying.
Hey, such and such in 105 said you ain't shit because you let your kid run around. I bet you won't tell them nothing, though. Just see what happens. I don't know. Some people take things way too serious.
Hilarious. So I guess let's get into it. Where do you want to start? Speaking of babies, Brittany Renner got a baby.
Hey, man. You know what? That's funny. I'm sorry. It's just hilarious. First of all, shout out to my man. What's his name?
PJ
PJ
Washington.
Washington. Hey, shout out, man. You got a new baby. That's what's up.
So, for those of you who don't know, he's a professional basketball player, and Brittany Renner was the light skinned girl who was on. I guess she used to make YouTube videos or TikTok videos. I don't know. She used to make something. I'm not sure,
Yeah,
but she got she's like Instagram famous,
Instagram
right?
chick.
She's like,
I think it's something
yeah,
like
she's
that.
like she like Instagram videos, and then everybody was like on her because remember she used to wear her bathing suit tops upside down. Everybody said she was kind of weird. Then there's that whole thing where she met up with like porn star Tiana Trump, and everybody thought they were gonna like have a sex tape, and then they didn't. Like that whole thing. So Brittany Renner is like IG Insta model girl.
Yeah,
and yeah, so she got with this PJ Washington guy. It's my understanding that he's not super old, and that she started dating him when he was still at Kentucky. So
yeah,
he was.
He's fairly young. I want to say he's only been in the league maybe a couple years, if that. Oh,
so by my estimation, like it was my understanding that he was like 18 or 19, and she was maybe 2 or 3 years off of 30, running him down.
He's 22, which means he was. It depends on when he came out. He's only been in the league tops 3 years, 2 maybe.
Right, but they said that she was pursuing him when he was still at the University of Kentucky, which means she was almost 30.
Oh man, she started early, huh?
Yeah, she's almost started running down 18-year-old, and I'm so sorry. And people were like, well, y'all don't talk about that being predator behavior. And I was like, no, it's absolutely weirdo predator behavior. Because once I graduated high school, or not, once I started high school, once I graduated college at 21, at 26, 4 or 5 years removed, like I wasn't going back to campus to be like, let me look at the new freshman.
Let me catch my new let me reel in some new potential. Like, nah, man.
Yeah.
that's so horrible. Like,
yeah. Oh, and then I think everybody just lets it go because she's an Instagram person and he's a basketball player. That's supposed to make it better because they're industry people. It's still gross. I'm sorry.
So she got him by 7. She's almost 30. She's 29, and he's 22. And to point out how inconsistent a lot of y'all will be, I find it kind of strange personally. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody. They're all consenting adults. But it's still something you could kind of look side eye to, like, yo, that's kind of weird, bro. Like, how you got him? It's kind of strange, but fine, whatever.
Because you look at it, 29 and 22 is not a large gap per se. It's 7 years, but we're also talking about two people that have a 7-year age gap, and one of them is barely old enough to drink.
Yeah.
And I think that's when we have these conversations, right? That's the nuance people are missing. We're not saying every large age gap is a problem, because if I'm 30 and I want to date someone who's 37, no one is going to blink an eye at me because we're both adults who are in a similar phase of life. No. But you dating someone who was in high school 3 months ago is
a little strange. I'm sorry.
It's different. I'm sorry. And y'all can be mad, but
I mean, to be honest, I'll even say this.
Brittany Renner couldn't run up on my 18-year-old baby at fucking University of Kentucky in his face talking about they finna be together. Bitch, you will, no one ever find you.
Hell no. Fuck no. It's not happening. I mean, the same thing, because even with that same analogy, 37, 30, you're like, okay, cool. Y'all had time to kind of develop to an extent, gain some. But if you do it in the opposite, if someone's 30 and then someone's 23, you're still like, 23 is fairly young to be trying to kick it with somebody. Like,
again, barely old enough to drink, like has been able to drink a year and a half, 2 years, and you've been a fully fledged formed adult here for some time. Mm-hmm. That's difficult to reconcile, and unfortunately, people like to act like it's okay, and I'm so sorry, but it's not.
I mean, it is in the eyes of in the law. However, people are still going to be like, I wouldn't do it personally, but hey.
Well, I mean, here's the thing about the law, right? We always talk about how in other instances, It seems to be this is the one that gets left out, but people always have something to say about how just because it's a law doesn't mean that it's morally right.
True. This is true. I mean, and then
I think this counts.
Even then, the law can be, the reason you have lawyers is the interpretation of said law. So therefore, it's one of those situations where there's nuance involved. And it's like, you wouldn't, I'm going to say like this. I'll just tell any man or woman out here, you wouldn't want your 23-year-old or 22-year-old child dating someone who's almost 30. Not saying that there's not much you can do about it because they are an adult, but it's going to take some time for you to just be cool with that type of setup.
Because I think the question is, why would you want to be with somebody that young?
What do you see
that becomes the question. I don't think that it's like, oh, you're going to mistreat but there's a certain power dynamic that comes with age and experience and financial stability that people tend to overlook. And it's raggedy. But we say all that to say that they were together. She got pregnant, and now it looks like they done parted ways.
Yeah. Oh, but he gotta pay now, but the funny thing is, of course, this isn't like you can't always use this as like, but she basically came out and said, if y'all want to get the bag, find y'all one of these ball players because they don't like using protection, which is damning for any NBA player. Like, what are y'all doing? Like, seriously. Like, are y'all not reading the rookie handbook? Like, are y'all not going to the rookie symposium? I think y'all need to start getting in with these vets to start getting the game.
Yeah. And I think that's the part that's most concerning, right? We talk about a lot of things, and this kind of ties into the thing with Nick Cannon having 75 children trying to repopulate Earth by himself. I'm not really sure. But what I think is interesting about that is that people have this argument about, oh, well, he can have all those kids and babies because he can afford them. So an NBA player can afford to have these babies out of wedlock and have unprotected sex, but why wouldn't you be more cognizant of what that looks like for you financially if you were on the hook for multiple children and child support if you're not going to be with these people? Why wouldn't you wrap it up? Condoms.
Hey man,
our condoms, a box of condoms is cheaper than Plan B. It's cheaper than buying birth control for somebody every month. It's cheaper than an abortion. Like, it's cheaper than literally every other option that happens after you get a person pregnant. So it just seems insane to me. They're like, yeah, I don't like condoms. And it's just like, whatever.
It's so
and also, what the fuck happens if you like break your back or something next year? Like, the fuck, like,
you're done then, son. Hope you invested properly. Hope you got something else to fall. See, but here's the issue I even have with that notion is kids are not just a financial transaction. It shouldn't be that way. The idea that you could say, well, he can afford all those kids. Can he spend time with all of them? Can he invest in the way that we should invest in society and our people?
No, and that's the problem. People always, because I will say men and women say this. There's women who say this as well, who feel like men should be providers financially, and they aren't looking at a broader definition of providers so that you have men who are contributing positively into their household outside of bringing money into the household.
I know plenty of guys who will say, well, I pay my child support, so you shouldn't be calling me for anything else. And it's like, but you ain't picked your kid up, bro. Like, you ain't seen them since they were like 2. They're 16 now. Yeah, but I paid all my money, man. She got all that. Cool. Yeah, that gives some basic stuff. That's a different argument. I understand. But you ain't seen them. It's like,
right, and it's that idea, that trope of like a dad being helpless, and we see that in comedies and in cartoons where the dad is like a bumbling idiot and he doesn't know anything about their kids. Hell, Jimmy Kimmel did that Father's Day skit, which wasn't even a skit. They just went out on the street with dads and were asking them questions about their kids, and none of them could answer the questions.
Yeah, and
it's like, why would you want to be that kind of father?
Because that's what we're told to be as a male. Like, we shouldn't show our kids anything. If we, I remember a long time ago, it was a guy I knew, and we were having a conversation about like what value and stuff like that as a father. And I remember dude was like struggling trying to find jobs here and there, which that's for a lot of people. That's the situation. And this is where he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna just go back to just selling jobs." I was like, "Bro, but you can get put in prison behind that. Like, you will literally eliminate yourself from your kid's life." And his words were, "Well, am I any value to them if I can't, keep a roof over their head?" And I was like, "Man, we're in a fucked up situation. Like, that's terrible."
And a lot of women view it that way too. If he's not giving money, then he's useless. Which I think is really horrible when you think about it in context of, especially with Black men and Black women are some of the highest earners statistically. So by that mindset, it's not even as if they aren't contributing monetarily to these households. So why is it that the man has to contribute money only, and that's the only expectation for him, when there are other people in the house that are contributing financially? Why should that be the benchmark?
It's a great question. I mean, it's been one of those things where we as a society, unfortunately, and as we interact, we believe that the man has to either meet you at the same amount that you make or exceed. It's rare that he could come in under. You may deal with it, just depends on how long that's going to be. And even then, when you look at it, there's a lot of guys, they feel worthless if they're not capable of doing these things. And then there's a scenario where all women are after just the top 10% of guys that exist, and it's like, well, that's not going to work either. Like, we again, I think we had this conversation before. It's like we've turned all of our relationships similar to how we conduct business in the world, and everything's a transaction. If I can't, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, if I can't gain something off of our interaction, then the relationship is pointless.
And that's unfortunate, because there are people that believe this and they have children. And it's like, if this is how you feel about the relationships in your life, how do you feel about your children? Are you transactional with them? Like, because I pay your mom child support, I shouldn't have to do anything further for you or with you? Because let's be real here. Man, woman, whoever, if you are not the custodial parent and you're paying child support, the average person is not paying that much. Like, you're paying a percentage of your income, but it can only be up to a certain amount legally. Like, they can't take 60% of your paycheck for child support.
Nope. Per child is like 20%.
Is the max.
That's the max. And
so it's not even.
It's 1/5 of your income.
And so when you look at the numbers, like, these people are not paying that much. And granted, when you have bills and the cost of living and the world is expensive, I do understand that. But we are talking about $100, $200, $300 a month in the grand scheme of things for your child's well-being. And because if you're one of those people that says, because I pay, we'll say the high end, because the average is far less than that. So we'll say you're paying $350 a month in child support, because that's
actually pretty high.
That's high. So if you're paying $350 a month in child support, you feel like you shouldn't be responsible for anything else that your child needs. Mm-hmm. Well, the person who is caring for your child needs to have groceries. Well, that person was going to buy groceries anyway. Yes. But as an adult, if I decide I want to eat fucking rice and beans every day because I don't have any money, I can do that because I'm an adult. You can't feed your kid rice and beans every day without the state showing up and being like, you don't feed your kid.
Yeah, they're not getting proper.
You have to have shit for children in your house.
They're not getting proper nutrition. So even if you want to, for the guys who are bad at math or math's not mathing correctly, even if you want to say you were going to spend $200 on yourself as an individual for groceries, add an additional $100 to $150 for the child. That's the low end. And
they eat all the time. They don't have any concept of, I don't have any money to replace this food, don't eat it.
Yes.
They're kids. They expect there to be food in the house. They expect someone to feed them.
And they don't even eat it all at times. Kids will gladly go bite an apple and throw it away.
Yeah, Yeah, or ask you to buy them something and then they don't eat any of it. They get it home and it doesn't get eaten.
Exactly.
I want bananas. Okay, cool. We buy a bunch of bananas. The bananas go bad because no one's eating bananas.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So and then they need to bathe. They need soap. You can't. They and granted, these are things that you would have at your house anyway, but you're not thinking about the fact that they go quicker because other people are using them in the house.
Mm-hmm. But that's
your kids have to go to school. Your kids might need uniforms. Your kids need school supplies. Your kids wear shoes and clothes. They go through things more frequently because they're still growing. So while that amount of money to you may seem like a great amount of an extra influx and income to the other household, it's really not when you consider that they're caring for a whole other human being.
I think people only look at
far more things than they need.
Yeah. Unfortunately, when it comes being that it is a transaction, people only look at it from a cost benefit analysis aspect. So they lost $350. They didn't invest $350. And so with that being considered a loss, it's a negative. And that's how everyone looks at it.
Instead of it being a positive that your children, that money is being taken and your children or whatever. Because I often hear people say, oh, well, if I pay child support, that should go to my child. Like she should, or he or she shouldn't be able to touch it. Well, your child is 3.
Mm-hmm.
So explain to me what a 3-year-old is going to do with $350. Like explain to me how this breaks down for you in your head. Like what does the 3-year-old have a concept of what money is to know what $350 is?
Yeah.
Does the child know his clothing size and shoe size and what type of food he like? Does your toddler grocery shop? Does he?
Yeah. I think it's one of those situations where people, they all think this, and they most likely it was because some anecdote story they received from someone else. Oh man, yeah. So my baby moms took all the money I gave her, and she went and got her nails done, bought herself some clothes, and got her hair done, and my kid looked busted. It's like that's not the average, bro. I'm like, that's her, and if that is the case, he need to have a discussion with her. Other than that, can he really even prove it? Like, because only thing you can point to is that the money left your pocket, and all of a sudden she showed up with these things. There's a correlation, but you can't determine that that's what happened.
But also, like, children are a drain on your finances. So if by you giving me whatever amount of money it is a month that you gave me, I paid all the bills, I paid the kids daycare up for the month, I bought the kid new shoes, we got a house full of groceries, they starting T-ball next week, and I done bought the uniform, and we done paid and signed up for T-ball, and I had $70 left over, and I went and got a full set. Like, I really don't know that's that horrible in the grand scheme of things.
See, because people don't look at it in that regard. They don't look at it as, well, I reimbursed for the money that she spent. They look at it as, she took the money I gave and used it for blank. That's it. They don't think through that process. And so that's a problem with a lot of things, and we'll get into a whole nother day. But that's where people end with their thought process. Oh man, she took my $400 and went and spent time with her homegirls or whatever, something like that.
And it shouldn't be that way. But again, it's about relationships being transactional, and this idea that men don't have any worth outside of it being monetary. And I think as Black people as a whole, if we each committed to reinforcing having positive role models in our kids' lives and placing value on Black men being present and mindful and a part of their kids' day-to-day lives, and prioritize that over this man having like a 6-figure job, then I think as a people we would get a lot further. Our kids would be more well-rounded. Our kids would have better ideas of what it looks like to be parented, and that is hopeful for everyone.
Yeah, and I would agree, and we also got to get out of this, because the transactional thing doesn't help for healthy relationships. On one end, you're going to have guys who are always going to be mistrusting of their woman because they think they're just a stepping stone to the man that makes more money. And then the guys that do make money, they realize, well, shit, I'm top tier. I'm good. I'm finna just hustle the game and get as many as I can, and whatever happens, fuck it, it doesn't matter. Because what are they gonna leave me? They don't have nowhere to go. I'm the 6-figure guy, or it was just oh man. Speaking of which, this is why I've been getting irritated a lot with like Kevin Samuel followers. But anyways, that's a whole other discussion too. But y'all get out of that shit, man. It's not healthy. It's not real reality. Life shouldn't just be about what someone can give you or provide to you. It's not a business. Your relationship shouldn't be businesses. So I'll leave that in.
Amen. A word.
So,
Amen. What else we got?
Other relationships. Apparently, we're having rifts in the LGBTQ community, at least in the rap folks. Not really rap folks, but I guess one in particular. And so, DaBaby, which is it's still kind of weird rap name, like when you say it just out loud. But anyways,
whatever. Rolling Loud.
There we go.
A weekend ago, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. It was about a weekend ago. Yeah.
2 weeks ago, maybe. If then, I don't think it is that long. So
he decided to go on some kind of tirade. And
so he did his set. So Megan Thee Stallion had the set before him. Uh-huh. He came out after her. He had his set. He brought Tory Lanez out in some type of mascot costume, knowing that, yeah.
Okay, fine, whatever.
Whatever. Like, hey, that's interesting for those of you who have been under a rock. Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion are going through some legal issues right now. She alleges that he shot her. And so they will be going to court for that. And just so we don't have any conspiracy theory weirdos in the comments, COVID happened. People's trials have been
delayed.
Delayed. Court system is backed up.
Wait, all right. This is me.
Don't worry, they'll get there.
All right, so
it has not happened yet.
So this is me being an a-hole, and I hope she don't ever get a hold of this audio. But the first thing I thought about with her getting shot in the foot was the scene from Harlem Nights. It's fucked up. I know. I shouldn't say that.
God forgive me for laughing. Oh my God. Because I could just picture like Megan Thee Stallion like a fur coat yelling in an alley that somebody shot her in.
Oh, so you gonna shoot me? See, that's fucked. All right, never mind. But go ahead, continue.
Okay. Woo. Okay.
See, I shouldn't be laughing. Someone got hurt. Meg, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I'm sorry. We love you. I'm a hot gal. Love you. Love you so much. I'm a hottie. So he good as he felt, he brings Tory Lanez out there in that fucking costume or whatever. And then, people let that slide. They still was like cool or whatever. They was still like, we'll vibe. Then, at the end of his set, like instead of him just thanking everybody and getting off stage, he proceeds to say basically, put your cell phones in the air.
Put your cell phones in the air. Something like that.
If you're a woman and your pussy smell like water.
Or something like that. It's like, okay, cool. All my fellas do it if you ain't never suck the dick in the car. It's like,
suck dick in the parking lot, in the car. And if you don't have AIDS or HIV and one of those sexually transmitted diseases that kills you in 2 to 3 weeks. And if you, and I just was
like, why? Nigga, like, what?
So, there's a lot to unpack there because first of all, I want you to keep in mind that all of this was unprovoked. The set was over. All he had to say was, thank you, Rolling Loud. Good night. And walk off the stage.
Y'all being real. Look, first of all,
it just went left.
First of all, I got questions. The first part is super specific. Do you have a story to tell?
Well, I mean, I guess my question is, how do you know that these people are sucking dick in the parking lot?
In the parking lot, that's what I'm saying. Is there a story to tell here? Did you hear something?
Were you there?
Are you here?
Did you see it?
Were you the cameraman?
Were you sucking dick in the parking lot?
Thank you. That's what I'm saying. So it's like, first of all, if that's your get down, that's your get down. Do the thing. Just don't get caught. That's all I can say.
So don't out everybody else. If all 3 of y'all was sucking dick in the parking lot, why are you telling on them?
Yeah.
They didn't tell on you.
So it's weird, man. Because okay, all right. Oh boy, why did? Because it just comes off. And I remember he tried to actually do like some kind of. I'm not even gonna say apology. He responded. And he was like, "Well, all my gay fans, they know I wasn't attacking, blah blah blah." I was like, "Do they though?" Because, bro,
do they know that? Because it sounded like you. No, that's not.
Yeah, that's bullshit. I mean, I'm just saying like that because you just went on this tirade again, like you said, unprovoked, no context, no anything. You just threw it out there, like just let me throw this and see what happens. And it's one thing to try to bring awareness to something, but you didn't do that at all. You was like, oh, if you ain't got none of the AIDS or blah blah blah, and it's like, damn, nigga, like, well, what? Like, how'd this come up? This not even an AIDS rally. Like, what are we?
It's very specific. Like, all of this brand is extremely specific, and it's concerning, right? Because it's like, well, what happened for this to be the hill that you want to die?
Yeah,
nobody has said anything disparaging or weird about AIDS and HIV in a very long time. Because as a country, as a world, we really have gotten to a place where, one, there are so many drugs available that can essentially get your detection down to zero.
Yes.
If you have HIV, people are living full lives, having families, dying.
Magic Johnson looks stronger every day.
These people are living full fucking lives. It is not crippling them and killing them in 3 years like it was in 1980. So for you to like get up there and say that shit like is ignorant as fuck, because he is old enough that he should have a frame of reference for what HIV and AIDS awareness are, and the fact that there's a stigma that still exists for these people. Yes. And then it's not always sexually transmitted. You can get
it from needles
other ways.
Hey, needles, all kind of different things. So but it also goes. This is actually me. The first thing I thought about, I was like, damn, we need actual legit sexual education in school now. Because the fact that we can still discuss this here in 2021 and no one didn't just like say, hey, bro, yeah, you way off base on this one. Now, some people came out, but he didn't care. But the fact that you feel like you can throw that out here in 2021 and think that that's cool, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. And then, and of far less importance, but also important, ladies, I just PSA, this is, I'm talking to y'all specifically now. Well, I shouldn't even say people with vaginas, because I don't know which pronouns y'all are using, because I don't know all of you individually. So whatever your preferred pronouns are, but people with vaginas, it shouldn't smell like water. By the way, like it
has a scent.
It should have a scent. Like, I'm not saying it should stink because you like BB.
It shouldn't smell like you on the open seas or anything like that. But it should smell like vagina. I'm
right. Like it has a smell, and it should smell that way, and that means it's healthy. And if you're trying to make it smell like peonies and wild ocean rain or whatever from like Bath and Body Works, that's a problem. It's not going to. And it certainly is never going to smell like water. Sorry. Because also, what the fuck does water smell like?
Nothing. Water smells like whatever the environment is around it. If it's trash in there, it smells like trash.
Your vagina will never not smell like something. So sorry. Just wanted to put that out there. But back to the rest of the more important parts of this. He doubled down. Like, he puts out a statement. He half-assed apologized. He's doubling down on it. I meant what the fuck I said. Well, that's y'all's decision. But I don't fuck with it. But I don't mean no harm. And it's just like, that's unnecessary.
It's unnecessary. So here's another thing too.
Yeah, T.I. running to his defense, and you don't never need T.I. to run to your defense for anything. But him and that husky he's married to going to jail any fucking way. So he the last person that needs to be putting his fucking lips together to say shit about anybody doing anything. He needs to sit down and worry about these indictments that's coming. That's what he needs to concern himself.
But Husky though, come on, man.
She looks like a goddamn husky. I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm tired. They was doing all that abusing and every fucking thing else they was over there doing in Atlanta. Fuck him, fuck that husky, whatever.
Oh God.
Like y'all going to jail. Hope it's sooner than later. Good riddance. Goodbye.
Here's my thing, man. First of all, anyone from the LGBTQ community, they ain't asking for none of this. They ain't want this. It's like, why?
These people just want to.
Just leave folks alone, man. Like
they just want to live. And the crazy part to me is that people are so hard pressed to be like, well, that's different, and I don't have to do this, and I don't have to approve. And it's like, why can you see how it's wrong? Because if Post Malone had got up there and was like, put your cell phones in the air if you not a nigga. Like, they would have been trying to climb the stage to beat Post Malone's white ass. And they can understand why that's wrong, but the same group of people can't rub those two brain cells together and figure out why the fuck it is also wrong to say fucked up shit about a whole other group of marginalized people.
Because they don't.
Why is it okay for you to punch down on other groups of marginalized people when, as a black man, you are also marginalized?
Because when it comes to, unfortunately, you do have certain people who are in the woe is me Olympics. So I remember I had a discussion with someone one time, and they were just trying to say, well, we had to go through blah 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 years of this and that and blah blah blah. And it's like, exactly, which is be the reason why should be the most progressive people out here, because we know how it was. At least that's what I would think. It's like, but the idea that, and then the problem is, it's like, yo, you're also talking about other black folks. Like, black people are a part of that group. You know that, right? Or is that, am I speaking another language or something? I don't get it. I really don't. It's weird. Even if you want to say, hey, man, I don't really rock with, gay folks or anything like that. Okay, fine. You know what? It don't cost nothing just to keep it. Hey, man, keep it to yourself. Chill. You ain't got to go out there and attack nobody. Just eat. That's your prerogative, whatever. But the idea that you have to go out here and voice it and attack someone verbally or specifically just to rile others up, it doesn't make sense to me, especially if you're talking about losing money in the process.
Listen. People always want to talk about it's a gay agenda. Now, I would ask, what is the agenda? Like, you're saying it's to break up the
the black family. We did that. We do that enough. So hey, what else?
Well, I mean, it's not even that. My question is, if that's the agenda, what's the end game? Like, what is the literal end game? If these people are fucking super villains and the whole plan is for gay people to have some agenda where they turn all the black men gay, like, what is the end goal? When everybody's gay, what is it? What happens after they achieve the goal? Like, because if you achieve, like, are they just evil and it's just, I just want to be bad for the sake of being bad. Oh my God, everyone's gay. Like, is that it? Or
because now we got to wait another 100 years for all black people to die off, or maybe 200, somewhere around there. We haven't really ran the numbers yet.
Like, I don't get it. I just want to know what they feel like once the gay agenda is achieved. Like, what will be the prize?
No,
what will the end goal? What will the gays get when they get what they want?
I will. Here you go. You want anyone who brings that up, and I'm willing to argue. Let's argue. Let's go. Next person, if you want to bring that up to me, I will ask you, is it that easy for you to be gay then? Just the idea of them being visible is enough for you to turn gay? Huh. Interesting. Because I don't think that's how it works. But okay.
It's not. And they think they know better than science and everybody else and whatever else.
Then again, I would say, okay, my nigga, I guess you gay then. What? Yeah, because if it's that simple, you were on the borderline anyway. So you were already gone. If that's where you want to go.
And then also, it's that argument of, well, they can be gay. I don't approve of it, but that's their life.
Okay. And some people don't believe water's wet. Who the fuck cares? It still is.
But that's the thing about it. There's a difference between acceptance and tolerance. But the thing about tolerating people is you're doing it with still malice intent in your heart. Like you aren't accepting of these people as your equal. You're just like, well, they got to be here too, so fuck it. That same shit that you do with your coworkers that you don't like at work. Like we got to go to work and I got to get a check. So I'm a nod at you when you tell me about your cat or whatever cuddling with you over the weekend, but I don't give a fuck because I don't like you.
Yeah,
and that's what it boils down to. But the
like,
problem with that is that the same people who are saying I don't agree with being gay are motherfuckers that fucking were selling drugs and shooting people and have fucking cases and got a fucking lawyer on retainer. That nigga working so hard he can't have other goddamn clients because your case file taking up fucking 6 filing drawers. But you worried about gay people who are law-abiding citizens who aren't selling drugs, who aren't breaking the law, who aren't doing anything but trying to live a regular fucking life and be good people, and that's somehow a problem.
Yes. And you know what else it sounds like? Jim Crow South. When people was like, I don't mind black people. I just don't want them going to school with my kids. I just don't want them to be around me when I go to the grocery store. Can you do that?
That's exactly what it is. And so when you take black out and insert gay and the shit sounds fucked up, that means that you said some fucked up shit. Yeah. And so instead of that man apologizing for saying fucked up shit, he was like, you know what? Fuck it. And he's trying to do that shit that Daniel Caesar did when he was like, fucking, I don't care, cancel me. When he thought that he was going to go up for yes, Casey Anthony or whatever. But
hey,
Madonna done got involved. Elton John done got involved. Basically, the leaders of the gays have formed together like Voltron to get him the fuck up out of here. They taking him out these festivals. And that's the thing. Like, if you're getting show money, that's cool. But the people that are most successful and have the most longevity with getting show money are people that people still want to come see. And eventually you can only do so many Chitlin circuit ass, bullshit ass club appearances before people is like, nah, he not really popping no more. So it is what it is. If that's what you want, cool. Fuck up your bag. But don't get mad at the rest of us for being like, yeah, that was stupid. You could have kept your mouth.
You could have just kept that to yourself, bro. That's just that simple.
These folks' PR is working over fucking time. Like, it's like when Liam Neeson said he was strolling around looking for a black person to kill. Matt Damon just came out and said that he was using the F word, and his daughter had to tell him that, hey, you can't just be going around calling people faggots.
Yeah.
He's a grown man. That man is almost 50 years old, and he didn't know that he couldn't just call people the F word because what?
I learned that after high school. You like, oh yeah, you're right. We shouldn't be saying that no more. It makes sense. And you know what it took me? Actually befriending someone who was from that community, actually listening to them, actually understanding how that word feels or just how they feel they are treated generally. And it took time. Not saying that you can't be in one place. Yeah, not saying that you.
It took time, but it also took time back in 2000, like
2000-ish,
2004 thing.
Yeah, we're going back to early 20. Yeah.
That was a 1998 thing. Remember Matthew Shepard got killed and they did this big campaign talking about how you shouldn't hate people because they're gay and it's a hate crime and that you shouldn't use the F word. So I feel like by about 2000, everyone should have gotten the goddamn message. He was an adult.
You would think so.
He's a grown man. So he just said that shit unprovoked. So I'm just curious about what is the rash of celebrities letting their PR people go on vacation with their families for like 3 minutes and deciding to take those 3 minutes to say the most ridiculous shit unprovoked.
Some people can't be trusted just to say
like their PR again, like toddlers, their PR people looked away for 1 minute and their clients are pulling all the mugs off the shelves.
Yes. Also, let me make a disclaimer too. For when I was making the comparison of Jim Crow South to how we treat gay people, please do not come to me talking about, oh man, it's not the same because we went through blah 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 blah. I know that. You do realize they went through something similar. It may not have been slavery, but then again, they may have had black folks during slavery who were gay too. Fine, whatever. However, we can think through multiple things at once. Please open up your mind. Use that brain that you have. You could think about you could think about complex issues. Please try.
Not to mention the fact that there were laws on the books making sodomy illegal well into like 1990 and something.
There's still
some people are still taking laws off the book now. They're doing it quietly and not making a big deal out of it because they know the shit should have been off the books. But it's still there in a lot of places.
There's still countries with the sodomy laws.
These people are being oppressed. Hell. It's not them making it up in their fucking heads. So it's insane. So it's just asinine. So God bless him. I don't wish ill will on anybody. But
I hope it's a learning opportunity.
He could go play in traffic and I wouldn't be mad about it.
No. I mean, I just hope eventually he just smarten up and be like, hey man, I was wrong. I will say the intelligent person
is all he had to say in the first place.
The intelligent person.
All he had to say was, damn, that was kind of fucked up. My bad. Like, I said some disparaging things, and I realize now that, I have some learning and growing to do.
Yes.
If that white man could come back from saying, if these white people could come back from saying nigger all over the goddamn,
See, I think the only one that we let slide was saying nigger to somebody was, I think it was Donald Glover.
Joe said nigga on lean back, and they've been trying to get him the fuck up out of here.
Yeah.
So I'm just,
Fat Joe's Puerto Rican. Some people consider him black. So
you can be there. You can be Puerto Rican, or you can be Afro. You can be
Afro Latino. Yeah, Afro Latino.
Like but he's not. So
hey. No, I think one time.
Forgive me. I don't know if he is or not. I don't know if he is or not. I don't know. But there's a difference between you being an African person who has Hispanic origins or Latin origins as well, and you just being being Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
Because there are blonde-haired, blue-eyed Puerto Ricans.
That's true.
Just like there's Spanish in Spain. Those are white people.
Yeah.
Like you might be speaking Spanish like the Mexicans, but you're not Mexican. You're white. You're in Spain, because the last I checked, Spain is in Europe, and for some reason, people seem to block that fact out.
Yeah, and they even speak a different dialect of Spanish. It's almost like trying to speak to someone from Europe with English.
Yeah, like that's not even the same shit. So for you to those are not the same people. So don't tell me you can say nigga because you're Puerto Rican. That's not good.
I mean, but a lot of people always assume, well, if you're Puerto Rican, you're Afro Latino automatically, but that's not always the case. So yes, you're correct.
It's not. So the moral of the story is don't be saying nigga. The end.
Nah, I think it was the only white guy to say nigga was it was Charlie Sheen, and I think he said it to Denise Richards, who's also a white woman. Which is, there's some comedy behind that. It's fucked up.
Yeah, that's when he got pulled over and he was drunk, and then he called the police officer sweet tits or something. Like, he was gone. God,
hey,
he fucked up. God damn, he was fucked up, because he definitely called that white woman the N-word. That was wild.
But anyways,
that was something. But yeah, peace to him. Prayers down. But I hope you get it together, and maybe you can come out of this and your bag won't be completely fucked up. Man. And if that's what happens and you learn something good, I believe that we can all be redeemed from mistakes if we are willing to be.
There you go. If you're a real nigga that you want to claim, you can acknowledge when you fucked up. It's that simple.
Amen.
So, oh man, you said you got another one for us. What was this? Some
Am I the asshole?
There you go. There you go. That's what it was.
I figured we would have something light to finish off on. So this is long, so I will condense it. But this person says, I work at a popular clothing retailer and I enjoy my job. My coworkers are great. But one coworker, let's call her Rhonda, has been making my work life a living hell. They worked together for a couple of years. She said they weren't really even work friends. They just worked together. She says that Rhonda invited her to her daughter's baby shower last month, and she agreed to go. She says what she didn't know was that this wasn't a regular baby shower. She says, I arrived with the gift and was talking to my other coworkers that were there, and we figured out none of us had met Rhonda's daughter. So none of these people, her coworkers that she invited, none of them have ever met the daughter. They just agreed to come because Rhonda asked them.
Okay.
So Rhonda introduces the daughter. The person that writes in says that I congratulated her and thanked her for having us. She laughed and said something like, thank you, but I'm not quite pregnant yet. But it's always good to be prepared when the time comes. So the woman was confused. And so basically, one of the coworkers pulled her to the side and explained that it wasn't a regular baby shower. and that the daughter was basically was like sad and a little depressed because a lot of her friends have been getting pregnant and she wasn't pregnant. So the person who wrote in asked the other coworkers, well, did you know this is what was going on beforehand? And they were like, no, Rhonda told us when we got here, but and they were confused as to why they were supposed to bring gifts, but they decided not to make a big deal about it. So the coworker asked Rhonda why she wouldn't tell them that it wasn't a baby shower for an actual baby and just to make her daughter feel better. And she explained that on the physical invitations that sent out, they explained that it was a party to like shower her daughter with love. But she told the coworkers by word of mouth, but she didn't relay to them that there was no actual baby. So the coworker asked Rhonda, can she take the gift back? Because she felt like, I'm on a fixed budget. I thought I was buying a gift for a baby. You're saying there's no baby. So Rhonda said it would be rude to take the gift back because her daughter was going through a lot and was looking forward to opening the presents. So the person that wrote in was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to be involved in this, took her gift and left. So she says that Rhonda called her a disrespectful old bitch on Facebook and was mad that she took the gift back. And then apparently there's another coworker, when she grabbed the gift, she accidentally took the other coworker's gift as well. And that coworker says she wants to give it. She wants her. And that coworker reached out to her separately and said, hey, you accidentally grabbed my gift when you left too. Don't take it back to Rhonda. Bring it back to me. I also didn't want to be involved, but didn't want to be shitty in front of Rhonda. So I'm going to let you be shitty, but don't give the gift back to Rhonda. So basically, Rhonda found out and is threatening to go to HR because the woman won't return the gifts and buy something off the registry. But the lady also points out that while she has a registry, a lot of the shit on the registry is not even for babies. So again, Rhonda is threatening to go to HR if this person does not bring back the baby gift that she bought for the non-existent baby and also buy something off of Rhonda's daughter's fake baby registry that actually isn't for a baby. So she says, am I the asshole for taking back the gift because she was lied to?
Oh, God. Come on, man. This got to be a prank, girl. This can't be a real story. Come on.
Dead-ass serious. And apparently in the other note, she says that Rhonda has been like talking bad to her, like in front of her to other customers, like being like passive aggressive and shit.
Oh shit, I wouldn't care. I'd be like, hey man, at least I ain't throwing no party for a fake ass baby. Hey, look.
Right. So apparently Rhonda is telling the condensed version where she just takes a baby shower gift back at the baby shower. She's not telling the part where there's no actual baby.
Come on, bro. Like,
so is she the asshole?
No, hell no. Like, I wish I would be in that situation. Like, if I go to someone's house and they tell me specifically, like, imagine this: hey, we're gonna have a wedding shower, party, and just we got a registry and this and that, blah blah blah, and you show up. And it's either a dude or a woman, but they're by themselves, and they're like, yeah, there's no wedding exactly per se. I'm just holding this open because all my friends be getting married, and I've been feeling bad and lonely, so I just want to throw this party for myself as a pre-wedding wedding shower. Nah, bro, I'm leaving. Like, you should have just said, hey, you want to hang out? I'll bring a bottle or something like that. We can kick it. But you're not going to hustle me out of no gift? Like, what? I got kids and shit. I ain't about to just spend money on y'all.
And I think the part that is most distressing about it is that she's not friends with these people. And you can tell she's not friends with these people. Because one, there were physical invitations. None of the coworkers got a physical invitation, but she went out of her way to invite them, basically so that her daughter would get extra gifts. Because I'm sure the people that she sent the physical copies to were like, I'm not going to this fucking shit.
No, hell no.
And so when they said they weren't coming, she outsourced it to her fucking coworker.
Yeah. And I would have took my gift back. I'm like, man, we ain't even cool anyway, so I don't care. I'm gonna walk out. Just like straight up.
That is insane.
It's weird.
But I guess the most insane part of it is that now Rhonda is trying to blackmail her into giving the present back.
First of all, they talking about she gonna go to HR. What are you gonna tell HR? You gonna make up a story?
Well, that's the thing. Like, what I guess I was confused about that too, right? Because you either have to go to HR and lie and tell the version of this that makes it sound like the coworker took back a gift from your pregnant daughter, or you have to tell the truth and sound like a goddamn lunatic. Also, none of this is actually HR related.
It's not. And that's all I was saying. The first question is, did they harm you while you were at work? No. Why are you telling me?
So this is the dispute that happened outside of work, and you're making a complaint because of something that happened outside of work hours that has nothing to do with the company.
Hey, the reason I ain't going to HR either, because I'd be like, damn, B, that sounds rough. You might have to take them outside. I'm just saying. I wouldn't do it here because then I got to get involved, but there's a parking lot right around the corner if y'all want to really, if you really want to let her know what's up.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. Like, she's blackmailing her, saying she's going to go to HR, and then saying she's going to go if she also doesn't buy an additional gift. So if the person goes to HR to basically combat this complaint, all they have to bring up is that, one, you tried to force them to buy stuff off of the registry when they didn't want to keep them from keep them from going to HR, and two, you lied to them under this pretext to try to get gifts, and technically a fraudulent situation that she could.
That's exactly what I would have decided. Man, she tried to commit fraud against me. Like, straight up. She talking about her daughter was having a baby shower. There's no baby. Like, explain that.
It's really and truly like the less harmful version of somebody lying about having cancer.
Oh God.
It's like, harmful version of my kid is sick, my kid has leukemia, my partner has a life-ending illness, or my partner was in an accident, we have a GoFundMe.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally that, but not as horrible.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden when you follow up on, oh no, they just had bad gas. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you your $100 donation back, but yeah, it turns out it's not cancer.
Yeah. We appreciate you. Nah. I'm good.
Right. And unfortunately, there are laws in place. You can't defraud people like that.
No.
So unfortunately, if Rhonda goes to HR, she's opening herself up to prosecution, because you can't defraud your coworkers and then expect him to not get mad. That's so ridiculous.
It's just wow. Like what mindset are you in to come up with this kind of hustle? Like, for real though, like, why not just be honest and say, hey man, look, my daughter, for some reason, she's feeling a little down because of XYZ reasons. I'm just doing a little party for her. Would y'all be willing to come, just hang out, whatever?
And you could even say, hey, like, she's having a shit time. She really enjoys opening presents. I'm trying to lift her spirits. We have like a $5 or $10 limit. Just bring her something small if you can. No big deal if you can't. But I would really appreciate you coming to support her. That would mean a lot.
Even then, it's still weird because I'm like,
you bring her goddamn candle for the lady, and you go on about your day.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't gonna lie. I would ask questions like, your daughter, like, she 10? No, she's 25. I'm not bringing no gift for no grown ass person, man. No,
I'd have been like, that's interesting. But yeah, and then I think the other part is like, how delusional does her daughter have to be to go along with this? So you're gonna have a party for me, and I'm not pregnant, but people are gonna bring me presents to open.
Yeah,
and she was like, oh, let's do it.
What do you do when all you get is like, bassinets and baby clothes and other baby paraphernalia? Like, what do you do with it?
Pack it into your garage? I don't. I didn't understand that part either. Like, you had people bring baby gifts and there's no baby. Like, what would you? What if you don't get pregnant for 10 years? Like, what are you?
I guess you just have it in storage.
Oh, God.
I don't know, man. They didn't think that one through. I don't know. That's. I mean, unless they were going to run a hustle, like return everything and get the money back. But if it was Amazon, good luck. But I don't know. That's a different one. So I would say no. That's my answer. No, she's not. Like, because I think she was it depends on how she told the full story. I think she went fairly light on him.
Yeah, I think and honestly, if I was her, I think I probably would have went to HR after she pulled that stuff
Yeah.
myself.
Like most people would be like, nah, man, you gotta see me, fam. Like, step outside. You know, you know.
But I will say that I think that it becomes an HR person or an HR issue on the end of the person that wrote in, because now she's talking about you to customers and creating a hostile work environment.
Yeah.
So that you can go to HR about. But the part about the party, not so much.
No, not so much at all.
Oh goodness.
Oh man.
I needed that laugh. I just wanted
Yeah,
to share that with you. I found that absolutely hilarious.
that's oof. I can't even imagine. I'm glad my workplace ain't that exciting.
All these people have to be white because that's the only thing that makes sense.
Oh man. Other than that, man, shoot. It's been good being back though. This I guess one of these late evenings, past my bedtime and stuff. But got to talk to y'all, got to see everything. V, you got anything else coming up? Projects and all the other stuff that's going on.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. So new episode of Murder V Wrote drops on Tuesday. So look out for links and stuff for that. The show's Twitter is at Murder V Pod. If you want to talk to me on Twitter, it is the same on Instagram. So again, you can get links and stuff on how to listen to that on Tuesday. Trying to think if there's anything else. Next week, well, not this week coming up, but the one after, there will be a new episode of All Docked Up that drops with me, Chris, and Penrose. I don't know what we're discussing yet. I don't think we figured that out yet, but we'll get there. So we'll let you know when we know what we'll be discussing.
Yeah.
But we like to look at documentaries and review those and talk to you and give us our thoughts. So you can always hit us up on Twitter about that as well. I don't have any other projects or anything that I can think of that are coming up soon. Well, you can find me at VJ_Burton on Twitter. It's the same on Instagram. It's the same on Snapchat. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Eventually I'll get my Twitch game and everything going up. I still gotta work on some stuff for like OBS and things like that. So if y'all just wanna eventually when I get that up, I'll send that out for those who wanna follow that. See me hop on games and talk my stuff. Also gonna have a new episode of Happy Politics with my buddy Eric. Or if you want to hit him up on Twitter, he's at It's Super Eric. But we'll have another discussion on all the stuff going on in the great old state of Texas and everything else and all that fun jazz of the political world. Other than that, I am on Twitter. It's at _Q_the_great. And I also have an Instagram, which would be Q_simp. Also post like fitness related stuff on there for those who care. Other than that, yeah, I'm actually gonna be more consistent because most of my educational endeavors have been completed, so I'm pretty mostly free until V decides she goes back, and then we'll reassess from there. But other than that,
what am I forgetting? Oh, this show that this little show also has a Twitter, so you can talk to us there if you would like. So our Twitter is at choppinitup_pod. No G on choppin, choppin CHOPPINITUP_POD pod. Again, that is at choppinitupod. You can always message us there. We like to hear from you. Let us know if you have any ideas for topics or things you would like to hear us talk about on the show. If it's me, send me funny shit. I love memes. Also, send me like your screenshots of Am I the Asshole that you want me to ask you about.
All right. Other than that, I think it covers mostly everything. So again, we appreciate everybody. Hope everybody stays safe. Please wear your mask. Please stay away from those who think that this thing is like gonna give them superpowers, or if you can't get your vaccine, all the other good stuff. Don't listen
because the Delta Burke is out here killing folks.
Yes, exactly. Please don't listen to goofy people. But other than that, appreciate you. Love y'all. We up out.
Laters.